Hi, good evening, everyone. Just let me know if the sound and lighting is okay. Everything should be fine, but welcome to this live stream. I called this live stream at the last moment. I've been sitting on this information for some time and trying to dissect what it actually means so that I can give you meaningful input. And I've actually listed three things that I want to discuss. And normally I just speak off the cuff, but I quickly wrote them down as we were waiting. And I'm very concerned at this stage about quite a few things that are happening in the country, but specifically on the financial front. And I'm going to unpack that for you. This live stream is open to the public. So please share this link, like the video. We want as many people as possible to see this. Our live streams have done very well. We have actually gone to number 6 in the country for the highest viewership. And this includes all the top TV stations in the country. Double O Days has gone as high as number 6, and we can try and elevate that more. We need as many people as possible to get a different perspective, and I think it's really important. And I want to thank all of you that have made that possible in the past. So hopefully we can get quite a few hundred people into this live stream tonight. This topic is important, and it has to do with pension funds, but mostly to do with the state of companies in South Africa. And this is really going to shock you. And this news came out very recently, so today, and I've discussed it with my wife and a few other people, and to really understand the implications of this. And at this stage, it's going to take time to understand exactly when this is going to affect us. I've been telling people that we have not seen the overall effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, or the so-called COVID-19 pandemic, on businesses. Many people took out loans. When the Oppenheimers and the Ruperts gave 1 billion rand, those were loans. They didn't give that money. They were loans. It's the same as the 8.5 billion US dollars that so many entities are promising us. Most of that basket are loans with conditions. So the people of South Africa are being fooled, thinking that we are getting money. But in this instance, the crisis that we are sitting with is that new stats has come out, and I'm going to give you the link to this article that I'll be discussing, where you can actually find the stats and the details. And I will break it down for you. There's the link if you just want to follow. I'm not going to read through the article, but what it basically tells us is that just over 40% of businesses are not paying their pension fund contributions in South Africa. Just try and unpack the reality of that. So this is 40% of all businesses in South Africa are not paying their pension fund contributions, although they are deducting it from your salary. 40%. Now, what I don't know is what percentage of the financial power those businesses hold. Is it 1% of the financial might? Is it 40% of the financial might? Is it less than that? I would suspect that it's smaller businesses. So I don't know how big that impact is. But if someone told me that 10% of the country's businesses are not paying their pension fund contributions, I would be shocked. So the previous year it was 24%. And in a year, it has spiked in 2021 from 24% to just over 40% of businesses not paying, all businesses in the country not paying their pension fund contributions, although they are deducting it from their employees. And there's two organizations that's tied up in this, and that is the African National Congress. No surprises there. And, it is shocking. And then the Property Practitioners Regulatory Authority. So if you're working for the Property Practitioners Regulatory Authority, if you're working for the African National Congress, then your pension fund contributions are not being paid. There's obviously many other organizations, but it said the pension funds adjudicator released the 2021-2022 integrated report on Tuesday. That's, of course, yesterday. It shows that complaints about non-payment of retirement contributions by employers jumped from 24% to over 40% in 1 year. Recently, high-profile non-complying organizations in South Africa included the ANC and the Property Practitioners Regulatory Authority. If you actually look at what that means for the economy, it tells you that a lot of businesses are in serious trouble. So even although those businesses might not hold all the financial might in the country, I don't have those statistics. It tells you that businesses that are supposed to be paying contributions, that don't just have locum staff or temps or something like that. These people have permanent staff with benefits, aren't paying their benefits, which means you're not going to get your pension. And I'm not as worried about the pension side as I am worried about the financial stability of those businesses. In other words, these businesses are in serious trouble. If they're not paying those contributions, they are breaking the law. So it's against the law of the country for them to not pay those contributions, especially if they're deducting it from your salary. It's fraud. And this can have serious consequences. Now, when this happens on a large scale, there's nothing the government or SARS or anyone can do about it. This is just a state of our economy, and it's absolutely shocking. So I'll give you the link again to the article for those of you that have missed it. Welcome to those of you that have joined us. We have over 200 people watching now. Here's the link again. This is an indicator that you cannot ignore. There's a link again to the article. Okay, so we need to like and share this video. And I'm going to discuss 3 specific things that is very important. And I listed 3 things. And the last thing I listed, I want to discuss first. And that is that pension, the concept of pension was sold to you, and it was a lie. It was sold to many people. There is no such thing. There was never an intention for pensions to be successful. If you look at the plans of the global elite, pension was supposed to bond you down and give you a hope so that you would work for a company or an entity for your entire life, not develop further, not study further. And with that, I don't mean at tertiary institutions, but just broaden your understanding of the world that we live in, not invent, not improve anything in society, but become a working slave to a consumerist system. In other words, if you can consume, you need money to consume, fiat currency. And all that had to happen is you had to have this carrot dangled in front of you that one day you can go on pension. This is a lie. I've worked with so many people that still have to work today, that cannot live on their pensions, that earn big fat salaries, because people were lured with all sorts of bonuses and allowances, etc., car allowances, many other things. That is not part of your pension fund contributions. And in the end, you were sold this lie that one day you can retire. I can tell you, in the world that we're headed into, no one will retire. Let me make that patently clear. In the world we are headed into, by 2030, no one will go into retirement. There will be no such a thing. So this whole concept of retirement will vanish, okay? You will be able to see that as a concept of the old world when AI starts taking over. And soon I'll do a live stream with the members tomorrow night. I will be discussing artificial intelligence and how that's used by many organizations right now, how that will be used to control your life, not only with regards to SARS and many other organizations, but how there's actually studies done out that says it's the greatest threat to humanity, and not just from a livelihood perspective, but that it will in the end destroy humanity. And I find this fascinating, that universities of the caliber that was involved in the study would come up with such a claim. And I really find that fascinating. We'll unpack that tomorrow night at 8 o'clock with the channel members. But welcome to the almost 300 people watching. So The big news is that 40% of companies in South Africa are in serious financial trouble, are not paying their pension fund contributions for the employers, the employees. They're just not paying it. And the ANC is just one of many that's not paying the contributions. And I mean, they're the ruling party. So at the moment, the kind of circus that we find ourselves in is so extreme. And that is why I made the video that I made earlier today. And as the channel's recovering from the fourth big attack, and we definitely had a recovery today, you would have to go to the channel to see which videos I posted yourself, because many of you would not have received notifications. You would see that we have to make the change. No one is going to come and do it for us. If we don't speak up, do, and actually organize, we don't stand a chance. If 40% of businesses are failing, that they financially cannot carry their pension fund contributions, things that they have in their contracts with you said that they will pay. That is massive. This is a huge tick point that you can say close to business collapse. So the third point I wanted to speak to you about was that the pension funds were sold to you. It's a lie. It will cease to exist in the near future. Many companies made an absolute fortune out of that, but it was all controlling the populace. It was a very good plan to control the populace, and almost everyone fell for it. I got out of that many years ago. In fact, 15 years ago, I walked away from that concept and realized that I would have to work for the rest of my life and do something. Not work for a boss or for a company or anything, but work, I will work. Whether I'm working in a garden, whether I'm working in my community, work, I will do work until the day I die, or until I'm not physically capable anymore. And that's going to be the case for many of us. People, please like this video so that more people can see it. We need to activate the algorithms on this channel again, and make sure that as many people as possible can see this. This is a big concern for the country. So we need to make sure that we don't rely on pension funds. Just remember, a pension fund is based on fiat currency. You cannot eat the money. If the fiat system collapses, which is the easiest thing to do, you will have nothing. That brings me to the next point. And it's interesting that I wrote them in an order where I go from back to front. Point number 2, whoever controls commodities will win in the end over those that control finances. So there's a massive shift of the global elites. They are trying to control commodities instead of the financial markets, because soon the financial markets will not matter anymore. This is why people like Rob Hersoff are preparing blockchain citizenry. And this is as evil as it can get. Enslaving people to something like that is something that some people might run to. But the people on this channel aren't that foolish. They will see through it quite easily. But people need to understand that you need to own commodities. Owning fiat currency doesn't exist. You cannot own fiat currency, because it can be taken away from you. If you own an asset that you physically have in your hand that you can take with you, you can fight for it. But if the money is in a bank account or in some fund somewhere, there's nothing you can do about that fund's value decreasing to nothing. And I know about many people that have lost everything that they believe they'd worked for because of shifts in the market, and then they retire. It's a fraud. It was always a fraud. You need to build your own personal wealth, and wealth not in a financial sense or monetary sense or fiat currency sense, certainly not. So if you have control over commodities, you will be far better off than anyone that feels they have control with fiat currency. When a person walks into a shop with fiat currency, they feel they have control over purchasing an item. The day that fiat currency is not legal tender anymore, what are you going to do? If that person behind the counter says, listen, the shop is open from this hour to this hour, we're going to have guys at the door with guns, making sure we only allow certain people in, because we don't want our shop raided by all the people out there that actually don't have a form of exchange, and we want gold or we want silver or we want water as a form of exchange. What are you going to do? That's an extreme example. That is a plan C example. But these examples will become very real in the world very soon. When I say very soon, I say that this will start playing out. By the year 2030, it will be a mainstream reality. And people that can't see that happening around the country and around the world, I don't know how to help you, and that is fine. You are allowed to live with the decisions that you make and live with those consequences. Okay, so be in control of commodities you need for survival. Okay, be in control of those commodities. I'm not going to go into the details of what those commodities are. I've spoken about that to death on this channel, so most of you should be familiar with it. But make sure you have commodities that you need to stay alive with you. It needs to be with you. You shouldn't have the money to buy it. It's not going to help you when that fiat currency has no value. The next thing I want to say is, in the end, the fittest will prevail. And you know, that thought just popped into my mind, and it was so pronounced. In the end, the fittest will prevail. And when you get to, and some people will be in that scenario where it becomes the Mad Max scenario, plan C. Those of you that have been on this channel for long enough, that have been channel members, will know what plan A, B, and C is and how they can pan out. And, you know, Mad Max is a plan C scenario where it's every man for himself. And in that scenario, the fittest will prevail. If you're not fit mentally and physically, you will not make it. And we are headed towards that. I've told people that in South Africa, these things will happen to us first. It'll happen to us before it happens to the rest of the world. And we will come out of it first too, and then we can start rebuilding what's left. Okay. And that is something that is unavoidable, unfortunately, because of the circumstances in our country. So we need to be able to organize, to understand who our enemies are, the global enemies, and not get distracted by the land expropriation bill and all sorts of twat like that. I know people that lost their homes, that got taken away when Bill Bezuidenhout Avenue was built in Belleville because it was in the way of that avenue. They just flattened the houses. So don't come and tell me that government hasn't been able to take away people's property. They've been doing it since forever. And it's just a big stink that's being made over something that has been there always in all countries around the world. If the governments want to do something to your property and it's for the greater good of what they believe are the rest of the citizens, they'll do to you whatever they want. It happened during the COVID pandemic, and no one moaned and bitched then on a large scale. So thank you to the 400 people that are watching. I will take some questions now. I don't want this to carry on for too long. So once again, those 3 points is the pension that was sold to you is a lie. All of that will come to an end completely. It will cease to exist. There will be no more pension funds. Fiat currency will cease to have any value in the near future. Around 2030, the fiat currency system should have collapsed completely. I can't see it carrying on beyond then. And then the other thing is, whoever controls commodities will have power to survive, not financial markets. If you think that you are in control of the millions in your bank account, you're in control of nothing, because you don't control the value of that money, that fiat currency. You have zero control over it. So if you think that's an asset, you're insane. As long as you've exchanged it for something that is a commodity that people can use to survive, you will be in the pound seats. Listen to what I'm saying. You will be in the pound seats. And you don't have to believe me. I tell people, don't ever trust what I say. Don't believe what I say. Look at what's happening around you. I give you my perspective on history as well as the future. And I believe, I don't just believe, I know my perspective is accurate, because I look at what's happening around me. I look at real life evidence. And what we are specifically covering today is the fact that 40% of companies in South Africa are not paying their pension contributions that they are supposed to pay, but they are deducting it from their staff because they don't have the finances. They are screwed. Those companies are on the verge of bankruptcy. 40%. In a year, it went up from 24%, which is already shocking in 2021, to 40% in 2022. If that doesn't tell you that the companies, the businesses in South Africa are in serious, serious trouble, I don't know what will. So please, people, take this seriously. And remember these 3 points. The last point being the fittest will prevail. Those that are fit mentally, those that are fit physically, will be the people that will prevail in the end. End of story. This is not rocket science. It's very, very simple. So I really want to thank all of you that have come into this live stream. I don't want this live stream to carry on for too much longer because I want many people to go and watch it. If it's too long, most people won't be interested. I hope that I've brought the point across. I want to give you a link to the article again. And thank you to all those of you that are helping to get this channel algorithms back on track. When the channel goes under attack, the first thing I do is I stop making content. I make the efforts of the enemy useless. I'm not stupid. I'm far more intelligent than they could ever be. And so are we. As a community, we are far more intelligent than them. So they can never beat our efforts because it's individual efforts. As long as we're doing things as individuals and then organized together, there is nothing that can prevail against us. But I'm asking you, please stay mentally fit and get as physically fit as you can. At this point in time, I'm on track. I played soccer with my boys last night, kicked the ball around. We even did some header work, which was a lot of fun. Trying to set headering records. It might sound like a small thing, but to me it was awesome. Spending time with my kids and do things like that. Spend time with your family. Stick to the things that are important and don't forget to do all of these things out of love. A lot of people will tell you that love is a weakness. I want nothing to do with those people. They are evil because where love is present, evil cannot prevail. It's a simple concept. Where love is present, evil cannot prevail. And I really feel sorry for these businesses that cannot pay people's pension fund contributions. I'm sure there's so many good people battling that have taken out loans that they can't repay and they are at the brink of collapse. I don't know how many people will be affected by this. If any of you know about any stories like that, please email me, send me an email. I'll give you my email address and then we can talk about it because I think people need to know how people are affected at this stage. Here's my email address, so you can email me if you have to. Thanks so much for joining us. Just remember, out of love, we can do almost anything. We're going to need to organize. We are going to need to be mentally fit, physically fit. We need to make sure that we can survive any eventuality. That's a very broad statement. And I think a lot of people must be frustrated with me for saying that. But it's not up to me to tell you what every eventuality is. Your situations can be very different to mine. And it's broad. And that is the best statement to make because if I tell you, prepare for A, B, and C, I could miss something. Don't trust that. Go and figure out what you need to prepare yourself for. And thank you once again for sharing these videos, for liking these videos and making it possible for as many people as possible to see this content. And think about those businesses that are absolutely suffering right now. I put out a tweet earlier where Cyril Ramaphosa has come up with the most pathetic team of people for his CR 2022 campaign. You know, the politics in this country is not going to save anybody. There is not a single party currently in government that can turn anything around. I don't care who they are. We need to change the governance system. We need to directly elect our leaders to turn things around. To do that, we need to change our behavior first. If we don't change how we behave and start doing things out of love, as many thousands of people are doing right now, we will not make it. But I will end this with a lot of hope. There are thousands of people that are taking up the challenge, that are changing their lives, that are making sure that they have commodities. It's so awesome to see that. And if there's any group that you should go and join, you should go and join the Independent Living Group on Facebook. It's growing rapidly. At the moment, it's at 4,300 members. It went past 3,000 members just the other day. I actually can't believe it. It's at 4,400 now, growing rapidly. But go and join this group, and you will be able to find people there that are making sure that they have their own commodities that are tangible, that they can have with them, that they can take with them. And that gives you options. Please, I'm asking you nicely to make sure that you have commodities, that you have control over your own commodities, that you don't trust the government or large corporations to control your commodities. It'll be the biggest mistake that you can make. Make sure you have control over the commodities. And do not trust fiat currency as a commodity or something that you can trust as value for your labor. Imagine all the work that you've done. Fiat currency is in exchange for all that work, all that labor. And there the value is just collapsed because you have no control over that value. Think about that for a moment. No fiat currency can ever be an investment, ever. You'll be making a grave mistake. Thank you very much for watching this video. To the 400 people that joined, please share this video, like this video so more people can watch this live stream. Thank you so much. Yes, Heinrich, fiat, kaboom. Absolutely. I'll take some questions in the next 4 minutes and then we will say good night. Yes, direct elections, absolutely, Marlene. It's important that we directly elect our leaders. We need to create a new system because at the moment, what we are doing now is not working and we have a plan and we're implementing that plan. Chesney says, yep, we need to put our A, Bs, and Cs in place. Personally, I'm at plan C, always working towards plan A. For me, plan A is ultimate freedom and self-reliance. That's beautiful, Chesney. Thank you for putting it like that. Strong's us, thanks a lot. Jared Petsa, amen. Thanks, Jared, for everything that you are doing and for everyone that all of you are doing on the ground. You know, there's so many of us that have taken hits, and, you know, I've had many conversations with Jared. The moment you speak out against these South African elite and global elite, I don't think people understand how you get attacked. You bear those burdens on your own. And I want to thank Jared. A lot of people get upset when I actually single certain people out for making the videos that he's made. And please go to his channel and watch those videos where he exposes the people, what they are doing behind the scenes. And I'm sure you'll be doing a lot more of that in future. We need more people doing the same thing. It is a risk. It is not easy. And you will get attacked from all sorts of angles. And the attacks on us will increase towards the end of the year. It doesn't bother me. These other people actually have to pay to attack us. So let's get them out of pocket. And yeah, what type of commodities? Well, it's very simple. The things that keep you alive. This channel is literally filled with information on that. So I'm sure people can type that into the comments. I've said it so many times already. Marlene says, welcome to all the new members. Please like and share. Yeah, together this community is very strong. And it's the strongest community in South Africa. I can confirm that the YouTube managers program that I was contacted and I will be giving input into how YouTube does things in future, because this channel has had such a large influence. YouTube has noticed it and they are interested in what we will do in future. And I will say what I think we need to say, especially when we do membership live streams. Those are bad for algorithms because there's only a certain amount of people watching. We need things like that fixed up. So I want to thank all the admins. I want to thank Derek and Marlene for what they are doing, always putting out information. And the rest of you, there's so many of you that are part of this work on the ground. If you are not a part of the people working on the ground, become a part of the solution. The solution is there. We are implementing it. There's thousands of South Africans doing so. And it's really awesome to see it. and become a part of the solution. Be the solution yourself. And those commodities: food, water, shelter, energy. And then, you know, as my wife recently said, something to keep you sane can just be ascribed as love. So the word love, we're going to pummel that word everywhere, because the politicians feel nauseous when you say the word love, because they have become so dissociated with love that they can't even utter the word anymore. So we will use the word love everywhere, and anything that symbolizes love is important to what we do. That doesn't make us kumbaya. I can lie in a lar where I have to defend myself, and I can still love what I'm doing. Okay, so make no mistake, being someone that loves is why people went to war in the past to fight for freedom. They did it out of love for their wives and their children. That is why they did it. And now we are asked to give up our freedoms to stay alive. Are they mad? It's not happening. Thank you very much. And yes, please share that love out there in society, wherever you get. When you get to a teller, at a petrol station, I get to know all the people where I interact. It's really awesome to know them, to hear how they're doing. Change the country one person at a time. Thank you very much.